Kamsi, hide behind the tall grasses by the riverbank. Her body trembled like a leaf caught in a storm, her legs weak beneath her, and her heart pounding so loudly she feared the men nearby might hear it. Her wide eyes were fixed in horror. A short distance away, two men loomed over the motionless body of Emeka, dearest friend since childhood and the keeper of her heart's deepest affections. He lay sprawled by the river's edge, a gleaming knife embedded in his side, his body stained. His usually lively eyes were open but glazed with pain, silent tears tracing paths down his cheeks. He struggled to speak, to call out to her, but his lips remained still. The men engaged in a heated, whispered debate. "Submerge him in the river," one insisted. "No, someone might see. Let's carry him deeper into the forest. If no one finds him, they'll assume he's merely missing," the other countered. Kamsi recognized one of them, Obina, the chief's son, notorious for his arrogance and bullying. In the quiet heart of a small village in Nigerian, the moon was high in the sky, and the stars blinked softly like the eyes of ancestors watching from above. Something terrible happened. Kamsi, a 16-year-old girl with a tender heart. She is a strong and thoughtful teenage girl, raised in hardship but full of quiet courage. She lives with her stepmother who mistreats her, and her father ignores her, blaming her for the death of his wife, her mother who dies during childbirth. But none of this matters to her because she finds a friend in Emeka. They share a deep, unbreakable friendship rooted in childhood. They grew up together in the same village, walked to school side by side, and shared their dreams, fears, and secrets. Emeka always treated Kamsi with kindness, making her feel seen and valued, even when her own family did not. Their bond was filled with trust and quiet love, the kind that doesn't need many words. On that faithful day, Kamsi walked to the riverbank when she saw it. Kamsi recognized one of them, Obina, the chief's son, notorious for his arrogance and bullying, shielded by his father's influence. The other man was unfamiliar to her. Before her mind could fully process, Kamsi's instincts took over. She turned and fled, her breath heavy, her chest tight with fear. Upon reaching home, she found her stepmother seated outside. "Where have you been, you worthless girl?" the woman spat. "Fetch the cocoa yams and pound it, or else you will sleep hungry. Do you think dinner will prepare itself?" Kamsi remained silent, her body drenched in cold sweat despite the night's chill. She obeyed without protest, her spirit shattered, her voice trapped within. Back in the village, dawn brought distressing news Emeka was missing. His mother's anguished cries pierced the morning air. She sat outside her home, tearing at her clothing, wailing his name to the heavens. "Where is my son? Someone help me!" Bring back my only child, torn and uncertain. Kamsi approached Emeka's house, contemplating if she should reveal what she had witnessed. Upon arrival, she found a crowd consoling his grieving mother. Spotting Kamsi, the woman rushed to her, gripping her arms. "You were always with him," she sobbed. "Where is Emeka? Where is my son?" Before Kamsi could respond, other women intervened, pulling her away. "Leave now," they scolded. "Your presence only deepens her sorrow. Do not return." Overwhelmed, Kamsi ran home, fresh tears streaming. Fear and doubt consumed her. Who would believe her? Her father, distant and resentful, blamed her for her mother's death. Her stepmother treated her as nothing more than a servant. Trust seemed a luxury she couldn't afford. Days turned into a blur. Kamsi's appetite drop, and shadows darkened her once bright demeanour. At school, her grades drops, a stark contrast to her usual excellence. Her teacher took notice. One afternoon after class, her teacher approached her. "Kamsi, stay behind," she requested gently. Once the room is emptied, she sat beside Kamsi with concern on her face. "Child, what troubles you? Speak to me," she said. Kamsi hesitated, then rose to close the door, ensuring privacy. Returning to her seat, she took a deep breath and, with a trembling voice, recounted the horrifying events by the river. The confrontation, the knife, Obina's involvement, and Emeka's lifeless form. Her teacher listened intently, shock evident in her eyes, yet she believed every word. Embracing Kamsi, she whispered, "You were brave to tell me. Keep this between us for now. I'll handle it." The following day, her teacher discreetly visited Emeka's mother, gathering information. She then approached the village council, prompting them to convene. Kamsi was summoned to the king's palace. The king, an elderly man with wisdom reflected in his gentle gaze, addressed her kindly. "You are safe here, my child. Speak the truth without fear." With tears streaming down her eyes, Kamsi narrated her ordeal. The assembly listened, a heavy silence enveloping the room. The king dispatched his guards, accompanied by Kamsi, to the riverbank. However, the waters had erased all evidence. No body, no blood, no trace of the crime remained. Doubt began to creep into the villagers' minds. Meanwhile, in the chief's compound, Obina laughing, "Let them gossip," he sneered to his companion. Without proof, their words are empty. As the village buzzed with uncertainty, Emeka appeared in the square, leaning on a staff, his steps slow but determined. Beside him stood the hunter, his saviour. Gasps echoed, women wept, men stood frozen in disbelief. Kamsi, shocked and happy at the same time, his mother, upon seeing him, collapsed, overwhelmed by emotion. When revived, she clung to her son, tears of joy soaking his shoulder. Another council meeting was arranged immediately. This time, Emeka shared his side of the story. He and Kamsi had arranged to meet beneath the grand tree by the river that evening. As he arrived early, he overheard a heated exchange nearby. Curiosity led him to witness Obina and another man confronting a third individual clutching a black bag. Before Emeka could react, they attacked, killing the man. Horrified, Emeka retreated unnoticed, unknown to him. One of them spotted him. As he went to the riverside to wait for Kamsi, they pursued him to the river, where he was stabbed. A scene Kamsi had partially witnessed, he said. The village elders were shocked. When the king asked him how did he escape, Emeka called the hunter and told the king, "This is the man that saved me." The king then asked the man how he saved Emeka. The hunter said he was coming from his hunting. As he walked by the river, he saw something strange in the water and went closer. He found Emeka barely alive. He pulled him out and took him to his home deep in the forest. He cleaned Emeka's wound with herbs and fed him with warm soup. Slowly, Emeka began to get better, he said. The king thanked him for saving Emeka's life, and a reward was given to the hunter for his kindness. Immediately, Obina and the other man were called and questioned. They tried to lie, but the truth was clear. The chief's attempts to defend his son fell on deaf ears. The king ordered for their arrest. They were taken away and given a strong sentence. The king called Kamsi and praised her. "You are a brave girl. You stood for the truth, even when you were scared." The king awarded her a scholarship to continue her studies in the city. Kamsi smiled for the first time in a long while. The king commended, "Standing for truth, even in fear, is the mark of a noble heart." The crowd cheers with happiness. Emeka's return to school was met with celebration. Everyone was happy to see him again. His friends hugged him. Kamsi and Emeka's friendship grew even stronger. His once empty seat now symbolized resilience and hope. And so, the story of Kamsi's courage and Emeka's survival became one of the most told stories in the village. Parents told it to their children to teach them about honesty, bravery, and the power of speaking up. The river still flows, the trees still whisper, and Kamsi's name lives on in the heart of the village as a symbol of hope and strength. Moral lesson: speak the truth, even when it is hard, because courage and honesty can bring justice and save lives. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories.